Jim is going to talk about chickens, pigs,
yes,
and flu.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'd like you to think for just a moment about the last time you were sick. Now, I'm not talking about the last time you had a cold, because we get colds all the time, right? The nose starts to run a little bit, maybe you're sneezing a little bit. When we get a cold, more often than not, what happens is we just power on, right? We know we're not going to feel that great, but we'll still go into work, right? We'll still keep living our lives the way we normally do. That's not what I want you to think about. What I want you to think about is the last time you had the flu. Now, the flu is a little bit different from a cold, because the flu hits you like a truck, right? A flu shuts you down. Okay? You feel horrible when you have the flu. Your nose is running, your head is hurting, your stomach might be hurting, you probably have overall aches and pains. And what do you do when you have the flu? Well, first off, you do not go into work because you don't feel like seeing anybody and you don't really feel like you can do work. You feel so badly. You end up staying at home. You're probably on the sofa in your crowded front room,
yes,
right? The TV is on, but it doesn't matter because you're not watching it. You just feel lousy, right? You remember that? Now, the good thing about having the flu is generally we overcome the flu. It's what, a day, maybe 2 days that we feel like this? After that time period, our body gets over it. Our body figures out how to fight it, right? And slowly we come back. It might take a day or two, but we do come back from having the flu. And then it just becomes sort of a distant memory to us. However, what's very interesting is in the United States, every year, there's 36,000 people who never get over the flu. There's 36,000 people who die annually from the flu. And the reason I bring this up is because there's a flu virus that's going around this year that's a little different from the one that goes around every year. And it's what you don't know about this flu virus that may turn out to be your opportunity to join those 36,000 people. Back in 2003, a brand new type of virus, brand new to us, showed up. The official name for this virus was the H1N1 virus. We know it probably more popularly as the bird flu virus. You guys can all remember that. You saw probably a lot of things in the newspaper. You probably saw a lot of shows on television. It had a potential to be a devastating pandemic. And so we got a lot of press and a lot of coverage. Well, we got on top of that one. They developed a vaccine for it. Basically, it also sort of petered out. And that's what happens with these virus things. So it's effectively done. It's taken care of. Bad news. We're now in 2013. There's a brand new virus called the H1N9. Remember, it was H1N1, H1N9. Bigger, better, faster, even more deadly. Okay? The problem, or what makes the H1N9 different from the H1N1 that we had about 10 years ago, is H1N9 can infect people more easily. Okay? It's a lot more difficult to treat. Okay? The biggest problem that scientists have is with the old bird flu virus, they could take a look at a bird and tell visually that it was sick. And then they would go ahead and kill the bird, right? The problem with the new one is that the bird can have the virus and it doesn't appear to be sick. Got it? So picture a chicken farm. Which one of the chickens are infected? I don't know. So what the scientists have to do is randomly select birds and then test them. And pretty much what happens, if you catch one that's sick, then you assume that they're all sick and they all get their heads chopped off. The bird flu problems always seem to start in the same place in the world. Would you like to guess where that is?
China.
It's always China. Unfortunately, in a country of, what, 1 billion people, that's the worst place to have any sort of virus start. Epidemiologists describe China as having the perfect breeding ground for viruses that are going to go hopping from species to species. The reason that China is so dangerous is because it's the only place in the world where you have the 3 most important factors coming together. You've got people, you've got birds, and you've got pigs all living together. The way this one works is that the birds are infected with the bird virus. The bird virus can travel from the bird out through its secretions, through its tears, through its blood, and through its fecal matter, right? And it can hop to people, although that's somewhat rare. What's a lot more dangerous to us is that it can also hop to pigs. A pig's defensive systems are very similar to a human being's defensive systems. So if a bird infects a pig, the virus in the pig can mutate, can adapt to the pig's defensive systems and overcome them. Then if that virus hops to a person, we've got a whole new beast, right? The ultimate danger to people is that a virus mutates into a form that can travel from person to person. The reason that this is such a big deal is that flu germs can spread up to 6 feet from coughs and sneezes. Germ viruses can last on the surface where an infected person touched them for up to 8 hours. So, when the bird flu virus comes to your town, what do you need to do? Number 1, stop getting together with people who are infected. No birthday parties, no movie theaters, no parties. Okay? Just don't go to places where there's people who might be infected. And number 2, start washing your hands. And it's not just a quick rinse under the water. We're talking a full 20 seconds of vigorous hand washing here. With all the other things that we have to worry about every day, it turns out that catching the bird flu virus this year is yet another thing that we have to be concerned about. Now, we often shrug off the thought of getting another cold or flu or something like that. But the reality of the situation, this is a legitimate threat. This threat can throw your life, break even, out of whack. Now, the good news for you is that you do not have to stay home. You do not have to hide out from this. You can do some very simple things, staying out of groups and starting to wash your hands more vigorously. Simple steps like this can keep chickens, pigs, and the flu at bay. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dr. Jack. Thank you. Everyone, please take a moment and